Hi, this is Ed with GI Tactical, and I wanted to talk about one of the highlights for me at Faded Giant 2 down in South Carolina. We'd been playing all day on Saturday. I was so exhausted. I get back to our RV and just start pulling off my gear. Just can't wait to sit down. And lo and behold, a couple of guys from Steel Dragons Airsoft team come running up, and one of them says, "Ed, you want to come on an IDAM?" And for those of you who don't know, an IDAM would be an individual direct action mission. What these are small, unique little missions set up for 1 or 2 people, and they're a ton of fun. So I immediately said, "Okay, what are we doing?" And he said, "Well, we're going to be the OPFOR, we're going to be the opposing force for an IDAM." So I said, "Absolutely." Threw on my gear, jumped in the little golf cart, and myself and 2 of the guys from Steel Dragons, we zip up to this building. It's pitch dark. We're going up the stairs as they're briefing us on what the mission is. And they didn't give us a whole lot of briefing. All we were told was there are 2 guys, they have to retrieve some information, they're on the roof, and there's only 2 ways off the roof, and we have to stop them. So the 3 of us are suddenly abandoned on the top of, I think it was probably about the 8th floor. Totally dark, we've got flashlights going, just looking around, and the guy that was leading us up opens the door to show us the rooftop and is promptly met by a hail of BBs from these 2 guys. The 2 guys actually were from Cardiac Airsoft, and the funny thing is they were actually 2 guys that camped right next to us. We didn't find this out until I got back to the RV that night. So we were up there, flashlights going on and off the roof. It was just a ton of fun. They eventually killed us, and so we're being pat searched. I dare say they almost kind of wanted to take it to the next level, and I was like, "No, I'm not being strip searched, it's too cold, and we're on the top of this roof." So we get done, they leave, and so myself and one of the guys were just waiting to find out what's the next step. We don't know if they've completely exfilled out of the building, so we didn't want to go down. So we're standing on the rooftop just waiting and waiting and waiting. We kind of finally go to the edge of the rooftop, we're kind of looking over, see a vehicle, and lo and behold, it's our ride, turning away and the lights disappearing off into the distance. So we decide this is probably a good time for us to leave the building. So we go down and we pick up our 3rd member on the ground floor. But as we went down, it was so dark that we missed the doorway. So we're down in the basement running around trying to find this exit. And again, it's really dark. So finally, we run across our 3rd member from Steel Dragons, and he's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" And we're like, "We're trying to find the exit." He goes, "It's right here." And lo and behold, there was the door. So we leave the building, we're wandering around, finally we get picked up, we're driven back to our RV, dropped off. It was just an absolute blast. Lo and behold, there are the 2 guys from Cardiac Airsoft, and we're like, "Hey, was it you? Oh man." So we then spent the next 20-30 minutes just sitting there giggling and laughing about, all the tactics we were trying to do to each other and how we were trying to counteract it. So it was an absolute blast. So a big thank you to Cardiac Airsoft for being the opponents there. Big thank you to Steel Dragons for inviting me to go on the OP. There's my Steel Dragons patch. And once again, a big, huge thank you to American Milsim and GTI for letting us have an amazing weekend.